I came to the lake house to escape, my curves catching the sun, my heart craving freedom. But when my silver-haired neighbor, a man with eyes that burned and a voice like sin, set his sights on me, the summer heat turned into something dangerous. One sultry night, too much wine, and the line between desire and surrender vanished. The sun hung low over Lake Wisteria, painting the sky in golden and crimson hues. I, Sophie Clark, stood on the porch of our family's lake house in Willow Creek, upstate New York, breathing in the warm, pine-scented air. At 32, I'd fled Manhattan's chaos, my high-stress marketing job, a broken engagement, a life that no longer felt mine. This summer was my chance to rediscover myself, to feel alive again. Across the dirt path, I noticed him. Leo Grayson, my neighbor, sat on his porch, a straw hat tilted back, his silver hair catching the light. At 65, he was striking, ruggedly handsome, with piercing blue eyes and a body still strong from years of rowing on the lake. He tipped his hat when he saw me, his smile warm but laced with something else, something that made my pulse quicken. "Welcome to paradise, Sophie," he called, his voice low and smooth, like a melody I couldn't shake. The first week passed in a blur of lazy, sun-soaked days. I lounged on my dock in a bikini, my skin glowing as I lost myself in steamy romance novels. Leo was always nearby, tending his garden, splitting firewood, or gliding across the lake in his rowboat. His eyes would find mine, and he'd flash that grin, the one that made me feel seen in a way I hadn't in years. I couldn't deny the flutter in my chest, the warmth that spread through me under his gaze. He was twice my age, a retired literature professor with a life I could only imagine, yet something about him felt dangerously magnetic. One evening, as the sky burned orange, Leo strolled over with a bottle of Merlot. "Care to share a glass?" he asked, his voice wrapping around me like velvet. I hesitated, then nodded, intrigued, maybe even a little reckless. We sat on my porch, the wine loosening my guard. Leo's stories were intoxicating, tales of his travels through Paris, Florence, Marrakesh. His words painted vivid pictures, and I found myself leaning closer, drawn to his warmth, his wit, the way his hand brushed mine when he refilled my glass. The air between us crackled, and I felt a thrill I hadn't known in years. "Your trouble, Leo Grayson," I teased, my cheeks flushed from the wine and his nearness. "Only for those who can handle it," he replied, his eyes locking with mine, a spark of mischief dancing in them. The days that followed were a slow, delicious torment. Leo's flirtations grew bolder, more deliberate. He'd leave wildflowers on my doorstep, tied with notes in his elegant handwriting. "For the woman who outshines the stars." He'd invite me to stargaze, his arm grazing mine as he pointed out constellations, his voice low and intimate. I caught myself watching him, his strong hands as he chopped wood, the way his shirt clung to his chest after a row, the deep chuckle that sent shivers down my spine. I knew I shouldn't feel this way, but the truth was undeniable. I wanted his attention, craved the way he made me feel alive, desired, powerful. One sweltering afternoon, I swam in the lake, the water caressing my skin as I dove, feeling utterly free. Leo sat on his dock, his eyes tracking me as I emerged, droplets streaming down my body, my bikini barely concealing my curves. "You look like a siren," he said, his voice husky, his gaze lingering longer than it should. I smiled, heat blooming in my chest, and sauntered toward him, my hips swaying, water glistening on my skin. "Maybe you should join me," I tossed out, my voice playful but edged with challenge. His eyes flared, but he only smiled, restraining himself. "Don't tempt me, Sophie," he murmured. Though I saw his hands grip the railing, Leo was patient, a master of restraint. He'd bring me coffee in the mornings, his fingers lingering as he handed me the mug, his eyes drinking me in. He'd compliment my laugh, my grace, the way my eyes caught the firelight during our late-night talks by the lake. One evening by the bonfire, he took my hand, his thumb slowly stroking my palm, sending waves of warmth through me. "You know what you do to me," he whispered, his voice low, almost pleading. My breath quickened, but I only squeezed his hand, holding his gaze, letting the tension build. I could feel his desire, a quiet intensity that hung in the air like summer heat. And though I tried to resist, reminding myself of the age gap, the whispers of scandal, part of me yearned to see how far this could go. I began playing with fire, choosing dresses that hugged my curves, leaning closer when we spoke, letting my fingers linger on his shoulder. His looks grew hungrier, his voice deeper, and I knew he was fighting to keep control. July brought a muggy, electric night that changed everything. Leo invited me to his place for dinner, promising his famous grilled salmon and a view of the meteor shower. I chose a white dress that clung to my figure, my hair loose and cascading over my shoulders, the neckline hinting at temptation. When I arrived, Leo's eyes darkened with something raw, his voice a low murmur. "Sophie, you're a vision." My heart pounded, but I smiled, stepping into his world. Dinner was a slow seduction. The salmon was perfect. The wine flowed freely, and Leo's stories took on a new edge, tales of forbidden passion, of moments too intense to resist. I laughed, but my voice was softer, my gaze bolder. The wine made me heady, my inhibitions melting away. During dessert, strawberries with whipped cream, he lifted a berry to my lips, his fingers lingering as I bit, our eyes locked. Heat flooded my body, and I slowly licked the cream from his finger, my tongue brushing his skin. His breath grew heavy, and I knew we were teetering on the edge. When Leo suggested we move to the porch to watch the stars, I followed, my body humming with anticipation. We sat close, a blanket draped over our legs, the night alive with the hum of crickets and the scent of pine. Meteors streaked above, but I was more aware of Leo, his thigh brushing mine, his breath warm against my ear as he whispered about the stars. The wine had loosened my tongue, and I confessed things I hadn't meant to, my loneliness, my hunger for something real. Leo listened, his hand resting lightly on my knee, his touch sending sparks through me. "You deserve to feel alive, Sophie," he said, his voice a low growl. "You deserve to be wanted." I turned to him, our faces inches apart. His eyes were molten, searching mine, and I felt the pull, the inevitable crash of desire. "And what do you want, Leo?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He didn't answer with words. His hand slid to my waist, slow and deliberate, pulling me closer. My breath hitched, but I didn't pull away. The first kiss was soft, tentative, a question. But when I kissed him back, it ignited something fierce. His lips were firm, hungry, tasting of wine and want. My hands found his chest, feeling the strength beneath his shirt, while his fingers tangled in my hair, drawing me deeper into the moment. The world fell away. We moved to the soft grass by the lake, the blanket beneath us, the stars above. His hands explored me with reverence, tracing the curves of my hips, the dip of my spine. My dress slipped down, the cool night air kissing my skin, and I gasped as his lips followed, leaving a trail of fire from my neck to my collarbone, lingering at the edge of my neckline. I arched into him, my fingers gripping his shoulders, feeling his muscles tense under my touch. His hands glided along my thighs, lifting the hem of my dress, his fingers teasing the sensitive skin, sending shivers through me. It was slow, deliberate, a dance of give and take. His lips found the tender spot behind my ear, and I moaned softly, the sound lost in the night air. He whispered my name, his voice rough with desire, and I felt worshipped, desired in a way that made my heart soar. My hands explored him, unbuttoning his shirt, revealing tanned skin, my fingers tracing the lines of his chest, feeling the warmth of his body. Every touch was electric, every whisper a promise. Leo's experience showed in the way he moved, confident yet attentive, reading my every sigh. We intertwined, our bodies moving in a rhythm that felt primal yet tender. His hands held me firmly, but with reverence, as if I were a treasure he feared to break. I surrendered to the moment, to the rush of sensation, the forbidden thrill of it all. It was passionate, intense, but never crude, a connection that felt as emotional as it was physical. When it was over, we lay tangled in the blanket, the stars still falling above, my head resting on his chest, his heartbeat steady against my ear. The next morning, I woke in my own bed, the memory of the night vivid but dreamlike. Leo was at my door with coffee, his smile soft, no trace of regret. "No one needs to know," he said, his voice gentle, "but I'll never forget." The rest of the summer was a delicate balance. We stole moments when we could, kisses by the lake, whispers in the dark, his hands finding mine in the glow of the bonfire, our fingers lacing when no one was watching. One evening, as a thunderstorm roared over the lake, we took shelter in his house, our bodies pressed together on the couch, his lips exploring my neck as the thunder drowned out my quiet sighs. Every moment was charged with tension, every touch a reminder that we were dancing on the edge. When August ended, I packed my car, my heart heavy but full. Leo stood on his porch, tipping his hat one last time. "Come back next summer, Sophie," he called, his eyes holding mine. I drove away, the lake house fading in my rear view, but the memory of that summer, of Leo, of the woman I became, burned bright. It was a secret I'd carry, a story of temptation and surrender, of a summer that set me free.
If you enjoyed my tale of forbidden desire and sultry nights by Lake Wisteria, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about my scandalous summer escape.